Welcome, everyone, to the first round post-game press conference of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championships. We ask that all media please silence your mobile devices, no flash photography. Coach will make a statement. We'll go into questions for student athletes. They will be dismissed, and then we'll go into questions for the coach. We're joined by St. Louis, first and foremost, Coach Rebecca Tillett, Brooke Flowers, and Kyla McMakin. Coach, if you don't mind, open us up with a statement.
All right, thank you. First, obviously not the outcome that you hope for when you earn these opportunities. Credit to Tennessee. I thought they were, really dominant defensively throughout and disrupted some things that we wanted to do consistently. In terms of us, I thought we had moments of really, really playing the way that we play, and that was in the first and the third. Even in the third quarter, they came out on that 6-0 run, and most teams would just say, oh, my goodness, it's just not our day. And our team responded to that, which is what this team's really going to go down, besides being champions and the first champions to advance to the NCAA tournament in St. Louis women's basketball history. They're going to go down for that about them, that through the leadership of these guys and the women on the leadership council with them, they just continued to fight the entire season, and those 2 quarters specifically were, what's been so representative of this group, which has been really special, and, how fortunate am I to get to lead them.
Questions for the student athletes? We have one on Zoom from Natalie. We'll go ahead and unmute her mic and let her fire away.
Natalie Heverin with the next.
Looks like we might have some trouble with her microphone. Anybody?
Coral Health and Oxford News Sentinel. Brooke, this is your last season. I just wanted to know if you could put into words what it's meant to you to have that experience of winning that championship and making it to the NCAA tournament.
I think that I couldn't be more thankful just for my teammates in this group, for all of us working together and believing that we could do that and that a championship was a possibility, and then going out and achieving that. So that's something that I'll always be able to remember, always be able to look back on, and that's kind of like forever. Like, we'll forever be the first champions. So a wonderful experience.
Hi there, I'm Devin from WUTK. So Brooke, this is for you, obviously being a senior, as you look to the younger players on this team, how hopeful are you for their future after you're gone? Do you see a lot of great inspiration with this team after the incredible season that you've had?
Yeah, I think that they'll continue to be amazing, continue to, reach new heights and do things that nobody expects them to do, just because of who they are and what our culture is as a program. So I'm looking forward to just watching all the things that they accomplish, and so much of the team is returning. So I think that they'll accomplish great things in the future, and I'll always be a Billiken, I'll always be watching. So I'm excited to see.
Teresa Walker, the Associated Press. For Brooke, you all were getting some offensive boards, but weren't converting them into second chance points. How much of it was Tennessee's length and height maybe affecting that, and how much of that was just maybe not executing as well as you all usually do?
I think that both things might have had something to do with it. We played a hard non-conference season, so we've played Power 5 schools over the non-conference. I think it had been a little bit since we had seen so much height, but also at the same time playing Rhode Island in the semifinal game. They're kind of a bigger team in the A-10. We got offensive rebounds, which is always what we want to do. We didn't necessarily execute as much off of them as we would like to, but,
Let's try Natalie one more time here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. For Brooke, with your blocks today, you passed Rebecca Lobo to hold sole possession of 18th place in NCAA blocks all time. what does that mean to you? And can you reflect over your defensive prowess in your time at St. Louis?
Well, first of all, wow. That's kind of cool. I don't know. I just think that I've always kind of been a defensive player first. My offensive game hasn't really always been the best. I mean, even now it's okay. Not like Kyla. She could, create her own shot at any time. But defense has kind of been my thing, coming into the game, into any game, really. I just want to bring my defensive presence as much as I possibly can. And I was actually getting on myself like halfway through the game. I was like, you haven't really gotten any blocks. So kind of challenged myself in the second half to get some more, and I did. So that was nice. But, I kind of have a defensive mindset, and I wanted to just block as many shots as I could get my hands on. I feel like I could have got a few more, but, that's cool, though.
Kyla, you guys were able to keep that game pretty close through the beginning of the second quarter, or even cut the lead to 3. What was working well for you guys, and then why do you feel like it fell apart in that second quarter?
I think we're doing a good job with, scoring the ball on offense. We were getting to the rim, hitting shots, all that. And then on defense, we were there were still times that they were scoring, but we were stopping them more than we were the second half. And then second half, they kind of went on a run, and our answer back wasn't always there, and then it's harder to chip away when they get so far and far. And I think we did have the right mindset, trying to keep going, but some of the shots just didn't fall, and that can be very discouraging. But I think they're a good team. They came out, and we just had to answer back a little bit faster.
Natalie, you have another question?
Yes. For both student athletes, can you reflect on this season, and for Brooke, your entire career at St. Louis, and what all of your accomplishments this season have meant to you?
I can go first, so you can go last. Okay. I'm new, obviously, being a transfer, so it's just crazy to see the development and how fast everything ended up clicking. And there was never a period of time, coming in with a disconnect from the team. We're not one of those teams with clicks or anything like that. It was just so quick that we all kind of embraced one another, and just everyone easily went into what the core values were, and we're able to, take everything, we're coming from so many different places and different backgrounds, and people try to take those backgrounds and help make connections, and it's just, I don't think a lot of teams could have connected as fast or have been able to do, the season that we did in the first year.
I would definitely agree with everything that Kai has said about the past season, just how we've embraced each other, a new coaching staff, just a new way of playing basketball, just everybody, investing into it and investing into one another. It's truly a beautiful thing, and I think that's why, we went on to win a championship this season. In response to reflecting over, the past 5 years, very proud of myself, and just seeing all the growth of so many people, like Julia and Peyton, from when they came in to where they are now. So just the growth that has occurred in the program, in the city of St. Louis. It's really just been a beautiful thing. So just to be able to say that I was a part of that means a lot.
We have time for one more question for the student athletes. Okay, we will dismiss you. Congratulations on a great year.
Thank you.
All right, questions for Coach Tillett.
Coach, when McMahon, I'm going to butcher
Make-
Kyla.
Yes.
Let's go with Kyla. When she banked in that 3 at the end of the first, and you get close, and there were moments. How much does that maybe give you hope as you take this program forward into your second season?
Yeah, I think that was, those were some good moments, some characteristic fight of this group. I wish I'd helped them a little bit more in some of those moments to, we had some quick turnovers, and in a game like this, when you have those in a row and they convert so quickly, it can get away really quickly. But, when she hit that bank, I just kind of smiled because, like, this is this team, right? This is the team that when things go a certain way, they assert their will to make them go another way. Again, I think we did that in the first and the third. But that second, when they made that run, it's a critical run that really good teams are able to make at that exact moment that can send you into halftime kind of, regrouping. And you want to be still in that fighting phase there.
At halftime, obviously there was a big lead, but crazier things have happened. And then Tennessee opens the third quarter on a 6-0 run. You call a timeout. What was your message to the team in that moment after, not coming out how exactly you wanted to?
Yeah, I think we just said exactly that, right? Like, steady ourselves. That's not what we wanted to happen. That's not what we talked about happening. But let's respond to it. Let's, as a group, respond. And, I think that is the story of this team. And I think it started with Julia Martinez's leadership early in the non-conference, just having this will to make things happen on the court. It goes all the way back to Brooke Flowers planting the seed of what we could do this season, which, again, even as a coach, I've been doing this a long time at different levels, and to have a student athlete so confidently say, this is what I stayed to do. And I remember even as a coach thinking, wow, that's a powerful statement, right? And then our non-conference was rocky. So to then have leaders continue to lead. Those two did that. Kyla did that. Ken and Camry are both a part of the Leadership Council. I mean, we had a meeting just 2 nights ago on the bus on the way to get some of the ice cream that we owed them for some of our road wins along the way that we haven't been able to fully repay. And just so to see them continue to lead, I think those were the same moments in the first and the third. I just wish I'd helped them have a few more of those moments today.
Natalie has a question on Zoom.
Can you talk about Brooke Flowers and what she's been able to do all season defensively, but also in this game, similar to what I asked her, that those 3 blocks that put her ahead of Rebecca Lobo, who's a name that comes up every year in college basketball.
Yeah, I love that she's 18. 2, Rebecca Lobo graduated, when I was she graduated college when I was finishing up high school. So just the markers in time, right, to think of how dominant of a performance Brooke has had over and over and over again to achieve that record. It started all the way back Florida Gulf Coast. She broke a record there. She's just consistently breaking records. I mean, we'll need to just make a really good extensive list of what she did this season for our program. And I think just to hear her say she's proud of herself, like, isn't that what we want for student athletes, right? To invest fully in the culture, and she had to do it more than once, and as a coaching change occurs, and just stay so committed to her hometown, to St. Louis University, to break all those individual records and win an A-10 championship for the first time in program history. We go around at the end, a tradition we took from my dad as a coach, and talk to each senior, just each person say something in that emotion that you're in after the last game of the season. And to Brooke, like, what did St. Louis University need? They needed Brooke Flowers, and they needed her to stay, and they needed her to commit and do all the things that she did to break those records and lead us here.
Natalie, do you have another?
Yes. Again, I asked you this, I think, back in Wilmington, but can you reflect on this season and all that you've accomplished in year one, and what you're most proud of your team this season?
Yeah, I mean, what a season. I mean, feels like we've been going full speed, right, since the press conference. It really does feel that way when you take over a program. I think just for this group, the staff, the student athletes, our leadership, our support staff, like, what we accomplish is not easy. And anybody that's been around the game a long time knows that. And, when I talk to other championship coaches, including ones at St. Louis University, we'll often just say to each other, winning is hard. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of investment. It's a lot of sacrifice. And so just to see this group, I mean, I remember initial conversations with Chris May, our athletic director, talking about what we're trying to do here. And, both of us believe so deeply in culture, and how can you speed it up, right? And both of us are having these conversations while knowing that it's not necessarily realistic to speed it up as fast as we did. And I think that's just a testament to every single woman in that locker room and everyone that touched our program for staying the course during the more difficult moments and then learning so quickly. Like what we were able, even today, even in the moments that were not successful, the things that we were able to attempt to execute, you know, we had no chance doing that 20 games ago. There's just, because we hadn't been together long enough. We hadn't learned enough together. And so just to continue to build on that foundation over and over and over again is why this team will go down in history.
Obviously, Rickea Jackson and Jordan Horston are the top of a scouting report, but Jordan Walker definitely made a significant impact today just with her defense, her work in transition. What were you guys expecting from her coming to this game, and how do you feel like she swung the game a little bit today?
Yeah, I think, I'm sure for them to make the type of run that they want to make, you've got to have some balance, right? And obviously we spend so much time prepping for Jackson and Horston, but I do think Walker made a difference today in what she was doing, and she'll need to keep doing that to take her team where they want to go. I think balance is so critically important. It's something we had to work hard to find, and they were, you know, very balanced today, 4 in double figures, almost 5. And just, you know, a dominant performance for them, really on both sides of the ball. But I thought she played well, and I thought she was critical to them making some of the run that they did that, you know, put us on our heels a bit.
Any more questions? Coach, thanks so much for the time. Congrats on a great year.
Appreciate it. Thank you.